All right, what's up, everybody? This is Chef just making another quick video today on what I'm going to be looking for into this upcoming week, and just a real quick a few pointers that I want to talk about that um, have my attention for this week. Okay, so real quick, let's look at the ES. We're looking at the 4-hour chart. We can start even from the weekly chart. The weekly chart is fairly bullish, though. We ended up a green week with low volume. Okay, so just keep that in mind. The Let's look at this 4-hour. This 4-hour trend is still holding true. So just make sure you focus on the trend in itself. Okay, so I guess the biggest thing that um, I really want to point out is volume. Okay, so the past 2 weeks we haven't seen that much volume, and that's just due to people, taking vacation for the past 2 weeks since Christmas, and just letting the market do its thing. A lot of the market makers were not around. There's a few tickers that had market maker moves, but not everything had market maker moves. Okay, so just a quick example. Let me show you this watch list. So now, like, all these now have market maker moves, and you can start checking now. So like around a couple hours before market opens, you can start checking how they all adjust on your watch list. But that's on you guys. You guys can go ahead and check that stuff out, and you're gonna see people coming back into the markets. Okay, that's a very very important thing this whole week. Uh, as for like as for news, as for FOMC this week, I mean, there's all kinds of other stuff happening. Developing news is coming out, and then also with the new president stepping into office, and then the whole transition thing. So uh, the president has also these new ideas. He's into like solar and helping small cap stocks. So you really got to do some research when it comes to some of those things. And there's since it's a new year, the one thing to keep in mind is the fact that these investors are going to come into the market. So and they're going to be adjusting portfolios. Okay, adjusting portfolios meaning things that let me just give you a quick example on what I mean, right? So we all know that the COVID season is basically over, but there's still some developing news on this new strand virus thing going on, and some of the lockdowns are still happening. We're still kind of shut down for restaurants, and vice versa, whatever. There's all types of stuff happening, but like I said in one of my past videos, is keep an eye on ZM. What is going to happen to ZM when COVID goes away and people start going back to work? There's not going to be a lot of demand for this specific stock. And as you can clearly see, the last time I made a video, we were kind of up here in the 460, 500 levels. The last time I had made a video on this specific stock and a couple other ones, it was actually FTX included. So now, like, look what's happening. We've been downtrending since this huge pump. This huge pump had to do because of COVID season. So that's when you got to start looking at these stocks: is how are investors going to come into the market and adjust portfolios? Are they going to come into the market and start buying up ZM because people are going to still use Zoom? Uh, Most likely not. Is it possible? Of course. A chart is a chart, and people are going to trade bull flags. People are going to get into ascending or descending triangles, whatever it may be. They're going to grab double bottoms. They're going to grab RSIs being oversold, overbought, overextended. I mean, you name it. So the potential for some of these trades are still there, but it's the view, it's the perspective that you got to start looking into this whole new year now, because this market is it's changing. It never stays the same. The patterns will always be there. The patterns will be formed. The strategies will be traded. So a lot of the stuff, it does happen, but it's the ever-changing markets that you got to learn to adjust to. And this is when it comes to you as a trader to start looking at what the new year is going to be bringing in. So since we've been down with volume the past 2 weeks, the biggest thing that I'm going to be looking for is volume. The volume is going to give you direction for any stock into the new year. The volume is what's going to be the buyers or the sellers. I don't care if it's sellers in ZM. I don't care if it's buyers in ZM. We're going to follow that direction where the buyers step in. The minute the buyers step in, is because you know that those stocks are being added to portfolios for long term. Okay, these investors are coming into the market this whole week, and this whole week they're going to be adjusting, just due to the past the past season, the past trends, the past break of trends, you name it. So come into the market and be ready to look for things like that, right? So here's another example, FTX. Let me take this off real quick. So FTX was one that I talked about as well in one of the videos. Like if you can clearly see here, we just trended and we finally had a pullback, and then same thing here. It looks like we just like topped out, and now we're literally just trending back down. So again, FTX was one of those COVID stocks that ended up booming, and if you can see like the past trend, we had a healthy trend, consolidated, and then had a healthy trend down. Okay, so regardless, you could have traded puts, could have bought the dips here, but over here you could have been trading calls, and then this one is just straight up with no actual structure. So now we're actually building some type of structure up here, but even then, like, will you still want to buy FTX at 260 when you know that the COVID season is over, the holiday season is over? So the next sales that are going to be coming in for the rest of the year, they're not going to be that great, which is again, do some of your research and play the chart. If there's a pattern, of course, play it. But again, it's the perspective, it's the mindset behind all this. Is an investor really going to come in and start buying FTX at this low price of 259, or are they going to really wait till we get to maybe like the bottom of this right here, right? So this, I have tons of alerts at the bottom. I really just wanted a pullback every time we were going green, but that could never really happened. I wish we would have seen some structure in here, a couple red candles, to have a healthy trend versus just an uptrend with pure green candles. So this is the weekly chart. So kind of in that perspective, I don't think FTX will keep trending up. In my opinion, I still think that it has room to come down, but definitely looking for those green candles to short those tops. But again, it doesn't have to be that way. It can literally just keep trending all it wants. So just a perspective and mindset of how I'm going to be looking at some of this volume into the upcoming week, right? So same thing with BA. BA is just this is like a nice little healthy trend, right? So we push up with a bullish candle, we come down, squeeze, have a pattern, go back up, and then just kind of like volume dies down, and we come down here, and then all of a sudden we get this huge volume, come back up, we're hitting this gap area. So here's your pullback. This is your pullback, and I'm kind of just waiting for the zone to hold. So again, it's going to depend a lot of where the investors are coming, and yes, it has potential for to recover long term back into this like 300 level, 400 level again. And it doesn't have to happen overnight. I'm not saying it's going to happen all next week. I'm just saying to keep mind of the volume and the portfolio changing in these investors that are coming into the market. So keep that in mind, right? So that was BA, and I actually have this broken down in Builder's Chat. We are currently in a swing, so we will see what happens. And if you want to see it, go check it out. Sign up in Builder's Chat and come see what we're doing. So same thing with Baba. Baba recently dropped on some crazy news. I don't have the full details for you. I'm sure you guys can go do that homework. But even right here, you can just kind of see that there's a pattern, a break of pattern to the downside with a massive red candle here. So tons of selling in this Baba chart. So can this build a base down here? Are investors really wanting to buy this at like 215 or 230, or are they waiting for a confirmation over 260? Like everything's going to to be ever changing this next few weeks coming into this new year. So again, look for stocks that have like good recoveries, look for stocks that have value. Baba is still a good company regardless of the COVID. So even through the COVID, it was still strong, and now it's just like a nice massive pullback. So again, it's all about perspective and what to look for. So same with HD. HD has a nice pattern here. You guys can kind of see it. right? Most people are going to be looking at that right here. They're going to be looking at that, and this thing has a pattern, bigger pattern. The bigger the pattern, the bigger the break. So be mindful of that. HD is still a great company. I think it's still at a good price, but again, you can always wait to come down here, um, or just trend back up. So again, just keeping mindful of some of these stocks. CRM, same thing. This is probably one of my top watches. Here has a nice little base, has a lot of rejection from the top. But buyers look like they're still interested. So again, just coming into the market and seeing where the buyers and where the sellers are going to be stepping in. That is the biggest thing for this upcoming week. So look for things like financials. Look at JPM. JPM's already reaching its all-time high. So when you're watching some of these stocks, watch them all together. BAC is almost reaching that top. GS literally, we're already in V-shaped recovery right there, already hitting that top as well. And then for that, in order to track it, use XLF, which is your financial sector. But again, we're like literally reaching these tops, and the trends have been nice on banks. And something to keep in mind about banks is the fact that they're continuing buybacks. So on the first quarter, and whenever there's a buyback in any type of stock, not always guaranteed, but those days do tend to trend all day long. So you can literally buy, at one of those dips and just hold it all day. But again, manage risk, of course. So look for that for financials. Also look for the news, the vaccine news, developing vaccine news, the new virus thing that's going on, some of the shutdowns that's going to bring back airlines in focus. So when we head into some of these lockdowns, you're going to want to look for airlines to drop even more. Okay, so I'm ready to play both sides. I have my chart set up. My target is up here. Doesn't have to hit the target. It can definitely come back down and start trending all the way to this like 200 level if it wants. It can even go back down to 180 if it wanted to. So again, look for some of that stuff. Look for solar. I know Bueller's very big on solar, and I think we're already calling out some leaps. So look at this trend. I wouldn't fight this trend yet. It's still trending nice. I still think it could use a little base somewhere, another base maybe down here for like a retest. So, keep track of some of these things and where they're going and how much volume and how much buyers are going to be interested in this for the upcoming year. Because remember, with this new president and Biden being up to solar stuff, this can potentially start ripping for the next 4 years. So like I said, investors are not looking to day trade from like from this little level from 6160 all the way to 70. Okay, they're not looking for that. They're looking they're looking at where are we going to be at in 4 years from now. Are we going to be at 61, or are we going to be at 100, or are we going to be at 120? Like, where are we going with this specific stock or company, whatever it may be. So just come into the markets, guys. Be ready. Look for volatility. The volatility is going to be there. The market makers are going to be there. All the banks are going to be there. So don't expect a lot of these patterns, intraday, to be working as well as they did the past 2 weeks. Come into the markets and learn to adjust yourself, learn to trade with the big boys and understand what they're thinking, because they're coming in and they're going to take your money. They don't care about you and your little bull flags. They don't care about you and your little wedges. So remember that. Trade price action. Get in the bottom, sell at the top, buy the breakout at the top, and set your stop loss like right below. Okay, be wise this week, guys, and let's kill it. I know there's a lot more that can be talked about, but this is kind of something that I wanted to share with you guys versus trying to do like a voice breakdown in the chats. I'd rather just make a quick video and kind of just explain my thought process. Okay. No specific levels, of course, given. All the charts will be posted in Bueller's chat, and then through my mentorship, that's kind of what I will be doing myself, kind of walking my team through some of these plays. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot of upcoming new things for Bueller's chat. There's a website up. There's a new course that's going to be coming out, so it's pretty awesome. There's a lot of growth coming in this year, and looking forward to, still continue to grow, with the team, and just to see everybody, hit some new goals this whole year, because everything's going to be different. So remember, come into the markets, look for volume, look for buyers and sellers, whatever it may be. If you're buying at support, buy at support. If it breaks support, then with tons of volume, that means that not these new investors, they're not interested in these stocks. Okay, look for the ones that are breaking out. Look for the ones that are still continuing to trend, because those are the ones that investors are still interested in. Okay, so just a real quick one again. INTC. INTC has been a stock that's been beaten down so much. So again, is the investor interested at $50? Is he invested at 45? Is he interested there? Is this going to continue to break or what? So just keep in mind something like this, because it can change trend. And I think that INTC is still a good company, so keep eyes on chip sector, and they do have earnings on the 121. And let's see what happens after that. But other than that, that's all I have. And then, yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one.